some of their TDY guys that were there to train whomever, and these are like, I met them the day before. They're like MACV SOG, like old hard crusty MFers, man, and they're in there, not again, you know, like, but he not again, man, and he tells me, he's like, yeah, he just kind of gives me and I'm like, hey man, like, give me their room numbers, their cell phone numbers, like. He's like, why? He's like, because I'm going to go get them. And he goes, like, record stops. Like, what do you mean? You do that? I'm like, yeah, I'm going there right now.
Yeah, motherfucker, there are Americans
That's
in
a
there.
start point. For me, I was like, thank you, please.
Jeez.
Now I have a room number, cell phones, and now I can get on the horn with them while I'm maneuvering en route, absorbing everything as it's happening and processing to come up with a plan of action to execute. And I'm not pausing to do it, not like taking a knee facing out and like it's happening real time. And it really like resonated with me looking back now. I'm like, what did you think I was going to do? Like, why did you even like ask me that question? But it goes back to, you just don't understand like the mindset piece of, like right place, right time, right person. But it's also a matter of like, why aren't you doing something about it? Like, what are you gonna do? I ain't got time for that. So it was like, I'm gonna go do something. And you know, I was able to convince him to give me those numbers and room numbers and stuff. And as I'm moving to the hotel, like we kind of drove around and got into the front instead of driving right past it. Kind of leapfrogged around. Dismounted, and then kind of walked up, patrolled up.
What are you carrying? What are you wearing?
I had just a t-shirt on, the civilian t-shirt, and like Prana, because they're stretchy pants. Nice. Sometimes men wear stretchy pants. It's a Nacho Libre reference. But and then just like some shit kickers, dude, and like. Good thing they were pretty sturdy.
Plates, helmet.
Yeah, so like my regular like JPC with plates, helmet, my HK 416 with my normal accoutrement, you know, and then my Surefire RC2 suppressor and stuff like, and then my Panos, but no more. Like I didn't have breaching tools, I didn't have like bangs, or I didn't have all the extra little bits of kit. That would have been really nice to have. But so as I'm coming up, like the RSO's like, now he's talking with the ambassador, and then the other RSO gets called by MSG or Post One, and they're like, hey, you know, this guy's, this one American just like called and said that he's trapped in a room on fire, and he's hiding under one of the banquet tables, and they're shooting over top of him. Please come get me, come help me. So between those two calls, there's a lot of noise, and I'm like, just filter through this, like which one is the most life? That one. So threat to life. I'm like, let's focus on this one real quick. Let's get the information. All right, I made the determination, like, hey, Mike, you know where this room is. It's the banquet room, breakfast room. If I lead, like, can you help kind of point me in the directions I need to go? And he knew they had the ground knowledge of the inside of the hotel, somewhat. And I was like,
what's going on when
go.
you're in there? Is fire just going?
I haven't got in yet. Right now, I'm still. So the RSO's like, well, hold on, like we got to talk to the ambassador. I'm like, you're already talking to him, but what? We're going in to get this Terry, the first American, in that room, the banquet room, because it was on fire, and they were imminent life threat, right? It's a threat to life of Americans. So I was like, all right, that's now the pressing start point for me. And the fact that they knew I wasn't going to go through the front doors. They shot the whole fucking place up, like going in, and they chased a bulk of the people into the breakfast room, and that's where they ended up focusing their attention get the most
kills
from the timing, right? So like 7:10 in the morning, that's breakfast time. To the time I entered, it was about 7:45, but I entered through a side door. I had to basically like break into a side entrance, service entrance or whatever, and then work my way through all these conference area, big huge rooms on the outer perimeter of the building or of the hotel. And I was able to, that opened up into the main foyer where it was like, if you think about embassy suites, where it's like an atrium, or almost 3-sided atrium with floors all the way, it was like 7 stories. And you go into the atrium and it's like 2 spiral glass staircases kind of going all the way up on each side. It's like super exposed. And it's just like the most like overly stimulating snapshot I'd have ever taken, because I was absorbing all of it out front and like everywhere around me, because every corner I was the guy up front. Everything was sensory overload, and it was the smells, the sounds, the fire alarms, the smoke, the haze, the smells of death, in Western dress. It was something that my brain was like, what? It was like short circuiting a little bit, because I had become so desensitized to life and death, but in certain environments, and certain dress. And that's just, I think that's a part of a self-defense mechanism. But for one, I didn't get a chance to prepare my mind, body, or spirit for violence, which is like planning contingencies and rehearsals. And you do that with each other and a team and a troop. And then you go out and do these things, and they're like incredible, but you buy down risk with a collective experience and rehearsed like plans of action that you just in place in the unknown, right? And it's I was just in reactive mode, and I was fully exposed. My mind, body, and spirit was, and it was just awful to see. And
how many bodies were you seeing? I mean, how many people were killed?
Well, a couple. The first few were just kind of like sporadic in the foyer area, and then.
Did you know any of them?
No. No, they killed 23 people total, Westerners, to include one American citizen. Anita Datar was her name. And I know that name, and I'll never forget it, her face, and because she was the last one, I needed to get confirmation on. Like, I went back to her room probably 5 times that whole day, and cleared it again and again, and then I was able to confirm that she was one of the killed during the initial. But yeah, it was awful. She was in the the blind leading the blind, they chased them through the breakfast room, people, and then they set that room on fire, and then just were stacking furniture. They were trying to burn the place down, and then they chased everyone through the kitchen, and that's where Terry got left behind, the American that was in that room that they had set on fire, and he wouldn't move. He was just like froze in that, wherever he was in that room. But I kicked the doors in to that room, and I mean, even making it to that floor to get there was this big. I was like, you cover 10 to 2, you 10 to 2, like anyone. I'm like, fucking pull security and cover me while I move, because I'm about to make a real big movement, because I had to run out and get on this spiral glass staircase and just mad dash it, to get up to the second floor to hold up and then bring them up. And then I went in and just went right into kicking these French doors in, and it was like a cloud. The whole room was full of just fire and smoke, and I just ran in there, and it fucking floored me. Because I was like, well, I can't breathe. Imagine that. But this mindset of it's a self-correcting problem, man. But it kept getting lower and lower, to the point where now I'm on my belly, with my gun, low crawling, gun light, yelling his name. And I'm like, wait a minute. First of all, no one's coming. I can't see any further. And I don't know which way is the fucking door I just came from because I can't see. So I was able to like crawl the fuck back out. And then
Holy
I was like,
shit.
this isn't working. And I was like, get him on the phone, like direct. Cause they were talking through a cutout through the MSG, the Marine Security Guards at Post 1, and then relaying to us. I'm like, fuck all that. Like we got him on the phone direct. And then by that point, because I went and did one of the lessons learned that I changed the way we train, or what had a part in that, was communicating the fact that hostage rescue, hell yeah, we're great at it, but what about in a fire environment? So we started training with Rescue 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up in New York, the FDNY, and they're really good at like manipulating a fire, that it's going to make it worse over time. But for that minute or two, it lifts and you can see further and they can go in and grab somebody. And they've been doing it for a long time. So between that and forcible entry is something I changed the way we train. And I was able to, pull him. At that point, I was able to, for one, like know which direction he was, because it's a huge room. And then it lifted enough to where I was able to get deep into there and then like just pull him out he just looked like death, man. Like he had talked to death and he said, "No, hold up." And I carried him out, and loaded him up and in a car. Like that's where it was integral for having like the RSO and the relationships they have, because they were working the embassy, like drivers and stuff, like shuttles, basically going back to a safe area away from this fucking hotel.